Some engines are a dream to work on, while others, well, let's just say mechanics throw a wrench the moment they see them. These are the engines that are infested with gremlins, complex designs, notorious flaws, and impossible to fix issues. Today, we're diving deep into the 8 worst engines mechanics hate to work on. Take some smoke breaks because these powertrains have earned their spot in the Hall of Engine Horror Stories. And you're about to find out why. Ford 5.4-liter Triton 3-valve, a nightmare of spark plugs and timing. The 5.4-liter Triton 3-valve is notorious among mechanics, mainly because of its spark plug issues and timing chain problems. Found in vehicles like the 2004 to 2010 F-150 and Lincoln Navigator, this engine was often plagued with spark plugs that would eject from the cylinder head. Mechanics know this isn't just a minor inconvenience. It leads to severe engine damage, costly repairs, and a lot of frustration. Fixing this problem requires specialized tools, time, and sometimes an entirely new head. The spark plug ejection is a unique issue that makes the Triton particularly challenging. Mechanics often have to deal with stripped threads, making the repair process far more involved than simply swapping out a spark plug. Sometimes the entire head must be replaced. The inconvenience combined with the cost makes it a headache for anyone who works on this engine. The issue became so widespread that Ford had to issue recalls, but the damage to the engine's reputation was already done. But that's not the only issue with the Triton 3-valve. Timing chain problems are a major headache, often causing the engine to misfire or even seize if not addressed quickly. The timing chain on this engine wears out faster than most others, and replacing it isn't a quick fix. It requires a complete teardown of the engine, which can take hours and cost a lot of money. If left unchecked, it can lead to catastrophic damage, further adding to the frustration of the mechanic working on it. In the end, the 5.4-liter Triton 3-valve has earned its place on the list due to its unique combination of complex problems. Spark plugs that eject, timing chains that fail, and poor fuel economy only add to its infamous status. Mechanics are left with long hours and high repair bills, a combination that makes this engine a nightmare to work on. Volkswagen 2.0-liter TDI Diesel Woes. Volkswagen's 2010 to 2015 2.0-liter TDI engine gained infamy after the diesel emissions scandal, but even before that, mechanics dreaded working on this engine due to its complex emissions system and constant fuel injector issues. While it was once praised for its fuel efficiency and performance, it has a dark side. The 2.0-liter TDI was prone to issues with the diesel particulate filter (DPF), which can become clogged, causing poor engine performance and excessive maintenance costs. The DPF is designed to reduce emissions, but over time, it can become clogged with carbon buildup. When this happens, the engine struggles to perform at its best, leading to sluggish acceleration, poor fuel economy, and the dreaded check engine light. In order to resolve this issue, mechanics have to either clean or replace the DPF, both of which are costly and time-consuming. Often, the issue is not entirely resolved, and the DPF continues to clog, leading to repeated repairs. The fuel injectors are another frequent problem with the 2.0-liter TDI. These injectors are prone to failure, causing engine misfires, rough idling, and poor performance. If left unchecked, the injectors can cause severe damage to the engine, leading to costly repairs. Since many owners continue to run their vehicles with faulty injectors, mechanics often see these engines with serious damage, resulting in even more work and expense. The cramped engine bay of many Volkswagen TDI vehicles doesn't help either. Replacing the DPF or fuel injectors requires skill and precision, and the limited space can make the process much harder. This engine's combination of issues makes it a constant source of headaches for mechanics, particularly when the same issues continue to reappear with alarming frequency. Chrysler 2.7-liter V6, Sludge, Sludge, and more Sludge. The Chrysler 2.7-liter V6 is one of the most hated engines in the mechanic world, and it's all due to its infamous sludge problem. Found in vehicles like the 2005 to 2010 Chrysler 300, 1997-2005 Dodge Intrepid, and 2002-2005 Jeep Liberty, this engine was often plagued with oil sludge buildup, which can clog the oil passages, leading to overheating and catastrophic engine failure. Mechanics who have had to work on this engine often refer to it as one of the worst offenders when it comes to engine maintenance. The cause of the sludge buildup is primarily due to the oil pump design and oil change intervals. When owners failed to keep up with regular oil changes or used low-quality oil, the engine would begin to accumulate sludge, restricting oil flow and ultimately damaging critical components. The oil pump failure due to sludge was a common issue, resulting in engine starvation, overheating, and even complete engine failure if the problem was left unchecked. Mechanics dread working on the 2.7-liter V6 because cleaning the engine requires thorough disassembly. The oil sludge has a tendency to settle deep inside engine components like the oil pan, timing chains, and crankshaft bearings, making cleaning a lengthy and often unsuccessful process. Some mechanics have even gone so far as to advise clients to simply replace the engine rather than try to salvage it, as the costs of cleaning and repairing are so high. What makes the 2.7-liter V6 even more frustrating is that even with regular maintenance, it's still prone to issues. Sludge buildup can occur even if the oil is changed on time, which leads many mechanics to believe that this engine was poorly designed to begin with. The constant need for repairs and the labor-intensive cleaning process makes it one of the most unpleasant engines to work on in the industry. Nissan 3.5-liter V6 VQ35, a noisy, unreliable engine. The Nissan 3.5-liter V6 VQ35 is often hailed as one of Nissan's most popular engines, but mechanics have a different perspective. While it might be used in a variety of popular Nissan models, including the 2003 to 2006 Altima, Maxima, and 370Z, the VQ35 is known for its tendency to develop timing chain issues and oil consumption problems. These issues can make working on the engine a long and costly process, leading to significant frustration for technicians. The timing chain problem is one of the most dreaded issues with the VQ35. Over time, the timing chain can stretch, causing the engine to misfire, knock, and even skip timing, resulting in catastrophic engine damage. This is not a minor repair. Fixing this issue requires dismantling much of the engine, which is both time-consuming and expensive. Given how often this issue occurs, mechanics are well aware of the amount of work involved. Additionally, the VQ35 has a well-documented problem with oil consumption. Many owners report that their engines consume oil at an alarming rate, which can lead to engine knocking, low oil pressure, and ultimately engine failure. Mechanics must constantly monitor oil levels, which means that the car could be in the shop for oil-related issues more often than other engines. The oil consumption problem is especially prevalent in higher mileage VQ35s, leading to numerous complaints and visits to the repair shop. On top of the inherent issues with timing chains and oil consumption, the VQ35's complexity makes repairs more involved than they should be. The engine design includes numerous components that are difficult to access, making what would be a relatively simple repair in another engine a far more labor-intensive job in this one. As a result, the VQ35 is one of the most unpredictable engines for mechanics, who often spend far more time on repairs than expected. BMW 3.0-liter inline-six M54, a time bomb waiting to happen. The BMW 3.0-liter inline-six M54 is one of the most iconic engines in BMW's history, but it's also one of the most frustrating for mechanics to work on. Used in a wide range of models, including the 2000 to 2006 BMW 3 Series, 5 Series, and X5, the M54 was praised for its smoothness and power. However, it soon became known for its cooling system failures, oil leaks, and most infamously, its Vanos timing system issues. These problems made the engine a nightmare for any mechanic trying to keep a customer's car running smoothly. One of the major issues with the M54 is its Vanos system, a variable valve timing mechanism that's designed to improve engine efficiency and power. However, over time, the Vanos seals wear out, causing poor engine performance, rough idling, and a loss of power. Replacing or repairing the Vano system requires disassembling large portions of the engine, which is both time-consuming and costly. For mechanics, this means spending long hours fixing a problem that could have been avoided with a more reliable design. In addition to the Vano's problems, the M54 also suffers from frequent oil leaks. The engine has a tendency to leak oil from various spots, including the valve cover, timing chain cover, and oil filter housing. These leaks can be small but become significant over time, making it a constant hassle for mechanics. If left unaddressed, the leaks can lead to engine damage due to the lack of proper lubrication. Fixing these leaks is often a labor-intensive process that requires stripping parts of the engine down, making it a dreaded task for any technician. Lastly, the M54's cooling system is notoriously prone to failure. The plastic parts of the cooling system, especially the expansion tank and radiator hoses, have a tendency to crack and leak, leading to overheating and potential engine damage. Mechanics dealing with the M54 often find themselves replacing these parts more frequently than expected, leading to a major headache and longer shop hours. The M54's aging components create ongoing maintenance issues, making it a less than ideal engine for both owners and repair professionals. Audi 2.7-liter V6 B5 S4, the turbocharged terror. The Audi 2.7-liter V6 B5 S4 is a highly respected engine for enthusiasts who love its turbocharged power and performance, but it's a nightmare for mechanics. Found in the 1997 to 2001 Audi S4, this engine packs 265 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque from the factory, and with two turbochargers, it's a potent engine. However, the 2.7-liter V6 has a reputation for oil sludge issues, turbo failures, and timing belt failures, all of which make it a headache to repair. One of the most frequent problems with the 2.7-liter V6 is oil sludge, which can build up due to poor maintenance practices or the use of incorrect oil. Audi owners who neglect regular oil changes often find themselves with a clogged oil feed system that leads to turbocharger failure, resulting in massive repair bills. Mechanics who work on these engines regularly have to clean out the sludge, which can clog the oil pickup tube and cause low oil pressure, essentially putting the engine at risk of seizing if not addressed in time. Then there's the issue of the turbochargers. The 2.7-liter V6 relies on two KO3 turbochargers, which, while offering excellent performance, are prone to failure. Mechanics constantly deal with turbo failures as the KO3s have a habit of blowing seals, leading to oil leaks and loss of boost. Replacing these turbos is no small feat, as the engine's layout makes access difficult, leading to expensive labor costs and extended downtime in the shop. The timing belt system is another weak spot in the 2.7-liter V6. If the timing belt fails, it can lead to catastrophic engine damage, especially with interference engines like this one. Mechanics who work on the B5 S4 often find themselves replacing the timing belt and its components more frequently than expected due to the engine's tight design and the labor-intensive nature of the repair. This, combined with the turbo issues, makes the 2.7-liter V6 an engine that requires constant attention, turning a fun, high-performance car into a repair nightmare. Ford 6.0-liter Powerstroke Diesel, the diesel disaster. The 2003 to 2007 Ford 6.0-liter Powerstroke diesel is perhaps one of the most infamous diesel engines in automotive history. Found in Ford's Super Duty trucks and the Excursion, the 6.0-liter was intended to be a powerhouse, but instead it became a nightmare for mechanics. This engine is plagued by issues like head gasket failures, EGR cooler failures, and injector problems, all of which make it one of the worst diesel engines to work on. One of the biggest problems with the 6.0-liter Powerstroke is its head gaskets. The engine is prone to blown head gaskets, which cause coolant leaks, engine overheating, and serious engine damage. Replacing the head gaskets requires a complete engine teardown, which can take days. On top of this, the head gasket failures also lead to the loss of compression, which directly impacts the engine's performance. This is a time-consuming, costly repair that every mechanic who works on this engine dreads. Another common issue is the exhaust gas recirculation EGR cooler failure. The EGR cooler is meant to reduce nitrogen oxide emissions, but it's a weak point in the 6.0-liter Powerstroke. The cooler can crack, leading to coolant leaks into the engine, which can cause severe damage if not addressed quickly. The repair requires replacing the cooler, which is located in a cramped engine bay, adding to the complexity of the job. In many cases, the EGR cooler failure is followed by additional issues like the turbocharger failure, making it a complete nightmare for any mechanic. Lastly, the 6.0-liter Powerstroke also has recurring issues with its fuel injectors. The injectors often fail, causing rough idling, poor fuel economy, and power loss. In some cases, the failed injectors can cause complete engine failure. Replacing the injectors is a complex, expensive process that often requires disassembling the engine, which makes the repair time-consuming and costly for both the owner and the mechanic. All of these issues combine to make the 6.0-liter Powerstroke diesel one of the least favored engines among mechanics. The combination of design flaws and complex repairs makes it a headache to work on, and it's an engine that has left many mechanics frustrated and exhausted. General Motors 4.3-liter V6, the underrated engine with overrated problems. The GM 4.3-liter V6 engine, found in vehicles such as the 1995 to 2004 Chevrolet S10 and GMC Jimmy, may not seem like it deserves a place on the list of worst engines to work on, but it certainly has its share of problems that make mechanics wish they could avoid it. Known for its oil leaks, timing chain failures, and head gasket issues, this engine often brings more work than it seems. What's even more frustrating is that the 4.3-liter V6 had a reputation for being an affordable, reliable engine, but that's rarely the case. The timing chain in the 4.3-liter V6 engine is one of the biggest points of failure. Over time, the chain can stretch, causing a slapping noise and eventually leading to engine misfires or a failure to start. Replacing the timing chain is an involved process that requires significant disassembly, making it one of the more difficult jobs for a mechanic to handle. Even worse, failure to replace the timing chain on time can cause permanent engine damage, leading to costly repairs. The oil leaks in the 4.3-liter V6 are also infamous. Over time, the engine gaskets and seals wear out, causing oil to leak from various parts of the engine, including the valve cover and intake manifold. While this might sound like a minor issue, it can lead to poor engine performance and higher repair costs over time. The need to replace seals and gaskets frequently makes this engine a constant headache for any mechanic working on it. Lastly, the head gasket issues on the 4.3-liter V6 can lead to coolant leaks, causing engine overheating and potential damage. Mechanics have to deal with blown head gaskets more often than they'd like, which requires them to replace the gaskets and sometimes even the heads themselves. Given the time and labor required, this engine is a constant source of frustration in the repair shop. From spark plug nightmares to turbo failures, the worst engines to work on all share one thing in common: they push mechanics to their limits. Whether it's the 5.4-liter Triton 3 valve with its head gasket issues, or the 2.0-liter TDI with its turbo troubles, these engines have earned their spot in the repair shop horror stories. What's your experience with any of these engine gremlins? Let us know in the comments below. Hit that like button if you've ever fixed one of these monsters. Don't forget to subscribe and check out another engine video for more insights, repairs, and performance tips. See you on the next ride, here on Tiremarks.